Hello. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. I guess we can start.
Are we live? Is it happening?
I think we're live.
All right.
I hope. Maybe we're not.
Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I am DJ Ross. I am in Mountain View, California.
Each week here on Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week, however, we're wrapping up another year of casting pods by taking your texts, voicemails, emails, and drinking some adult beverages. It is the annual holiday Drunktacular.
Sorry, I was supposed to make an excited noise.
Pause for applause? Is that what... If this was the wacky morning zoo show that I imagine it being, there would be somebody sort of hitting a button where people woo and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, next year we should get a soundboard.
Yeah.
This is like every year I forget how distracting it is to like be producer on this at the same time. So I'm just going to be very like absent-minded the entire show.
Okay.
But we're here. We made it.
And I will carry the show as usual.
Okay, good. We have lots of practice.
It's a division of responsibility. So, hello. We have survived yet another year, DJ.
We did.
Pandemic year 2.0. How was your 2021? Any lessons learned? Any, friends become enemies, enemies become friends?
So many enemies this year. It was better than last year.
Oh, yeah. Dramatic improvement.
A huge improvement for so many reasons.
But still terrible.
I don't know if it was terrible. Was it terrible?
No. It was, there are parts of it that are unpleasant. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, sure, but, that's every year.
Unpleasant is not terrible. Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Compared to last year, just so much better. I mean, it felt like it was going to go back to normal, but no, we're still going to be doing this for a while, so.
Yeah. What is normal? Do you remember normal?
I don't even remember. Like, I don't know if I missed that necessarily. I like when there's no traffic on the road. That was so good.
Yeah, Sarah talks about that constantly. Whenever we're sitting at a red light behind 1,000 cars trying to get through an intersection, she goes, "Do you remember?"
Yeah.
18 months ago when there were no cars on the road.
I got real used to just being able to go out and like do errands whenever I wanted because there'd be nobody driving. There'd be nobody at the store when I got there. And I went out last week or recently to pick up stuff like for the show. And I was just like, where are you all going? It's not even rush hour. And I'm like just behind a huge line of cars. It was really disappointing.
They also have shows to prepare for because that's how Twitch works.
Sure. Anyway. We made it. We made it another year. We're doing this thing again. I want to say hello to everybody joining us live on Twitch. Hello.
Hi.
Out there. Everybody who is... I don't know if there's anybody waiting for us to appear in the Discord. I don't think we're looking at the Discord, so please be on Twitch. They can't hear me anyway, so I don't know what's going on.
I'm moderating the Discord.
You're moderating.
Any chatter.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What do we do? What is this?
Somebody put a beer emoji underneath my announcement that the Drunktacular was starting.
Oh,
so
good.
The community is active.
There we go. Okay, so that's what we do, right? So what are we drinking this evening?
What are we drinking? We are drinking... Well, I have a story. So I bought a beer advent calendar this year. It is this giant cardboard box that has been living in my living room. And it's got 24 little windows in it. And every day you pull open a window and there's a beer inside.
Like a full-size beer?
Like a what is this, 12 ounces?
Yeah, like a can of beer.
Like a can of beer. And it's Brewdog, which is, one of the kind of the original bad boys of craft beer.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
And they've got, there's an unfortunate amount of IPAs. And there's been a couple of days where I've not been excited to drink the beer inside. But the two most recent ones I'm super excited about. There's a Holy Triple, which is 9%. Holy cow. And
that's still single digits. Come on.
I'm a lager guy. I tend to like 4.5% beers.
Okay.
Yep. And I have a marshmallow chocolate stout, which is 8%.
I don't know about that.
And I have one of these left that I bought over the weekend. This is Troegs from right here in Harrisburg, Hershey area, Pennsylvania. Master of Pumpkins. It is a pumpkin ale.
Okay.
7.5%. So Maybe we'll get through all 3 of these tonight. We'll see.
7.5 for like a fruit beer seems respectable. Like,
Yeah.
what else is going on in there?
It's pretty beefy. It's frothy.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's normal for beer.
That's a weird conflict of descriptors. Yeah, beefy and frothy. I've been described as beefy and frothy.
Gross.
VGH 524, beefy
Gross.
and / or frothy. So I think I'm going to start with the pumpkin ale because it's the one I'm most excited about drinking.
Okay.
What do you got?
What have I got? I got something very special. A lot of the times, after some very, like, overwrought cocktails that I prepared the first couple years of doing this, I tried to keep it kind of simple. I think a couple years ago I just did some whiskeys or some beer. But that is not the case this year because we have this thing.
The Ultimate Final Fantasy XIV Online Cookbook.
If you can't see me, I'm holding this up for the stream, but yes, this came out a couple months ago. It is a collection of recipes inspired by recipes from the game, the critically acclaimed MMORPG, Final Fantasy XIV. So I thought, well, I guess I'd better do this. So what we'll be doing this evening is, shall I just continue holding this up?
Is it just food recipes or are there cocktails?
It's food. There's cocktails. So let's see what we've got.
Oh, okay.
We've got
look at that.
the Crimson Cider. This was a notorious raid food from several patches ago, and it's quite involved. So I'm going to make one right here, but I'll tell you what goes into it. At least according to this cookbook. I forget what goes into it in the actual game. This is like something you could actually craft and consume in the game. We've got some sake. We've got this green Midori liqueur, which I'm very excited about because I've always seen this, and it's very green. I've never had the excuse to make anything with it.
That's a weird color for a beverage.
It's pretty good. We've got we got some like club soda, and then I special brewed this cumin ginger tea this afternoon, which I don't really drink a lot of cumin infused beverages, so should be interesting. So here we go. We're gonna put one together. I can't wait to spill this all over my computer.
I had that experience last year. I bought, if I remember correctly, I bought a crowler from one of the local breweries and made a big show of cracking it open on air, and it just went everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
Yes.
So maybe I should.
And months later, I was still finding sticky spots all over my office and desk. Yeah. No, not at all.
At least this way it'll be sticky and green, so I'll be able to identify it very easily.
It should be a little easier to find, yeah.
There we go.
You're like the binging with Babish of, I don't know, what are we, D-list
That's what they
video
call me.
game podcasts. Yeah.
You know, I don't have a little, like, swizzle stick or whatever, but whatever. Doing it live.
My grandpa just used his finger.
Yeah, okay. Well, I put in way too much of something, because this glass is very full. So, anyway. So, actually, I'm let me show you this. Again, apologies to people who are just listening to this in their car a week from now. Let's see, so we've got the Crimson Cider. I'm making the Eastern variation, and then it came out pretty well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that color.
I mean, neither of them are crimson, but you know.
I know, yeah, so I was noticing they're not crimson. It's a little misleading.
Are there apples somewhere? How is it a cider?
There is, well, I guess does ginger make something a cider? There's like fruit in it. It's not really like fermented fruit.
Got it.
But it's got some club soda. I don't know.
I'm thinking too hard about this, apparently.
But anyway, so we got our drinks.
Salud.
Salud. Yeah, cheers, everybody. I don't know if anybody out there in the audience is drinking.
So the hook for this thing that we did not explain at all at the beginning of the show is that DJ and I will drink these adult beverages and take calls and questions and tweets and emails and things that have been provided to us by members of our community over the last couple of weeks. I'm just kidding, really, over the last 24 hours. So yeah, this is the alcohol part of the experience here, and perhaps we should segue into the questions, unless you have something else at the top of your head, DJ.
No, really, I'm just like, this is actually pretty good. I'm kind of into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think of cumin as
might be on the floor.
A drinkable beverage.
So I didn't put in as much as the recipe suggested because I was like measuring it out, and I was like, this is a lot. It feels like I'm, somebody's going to be making chili. At least that's what it smells like.
Taco meat.
Yeah. But it's actually not bad.
Cool.
So what now? Should we go to the
Are you ready
questions?
for a raid? Are you raid ready?
Ready for the raid? I guess. Yeah. Man, I'm already so out of it. Should we go to the phones?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, let's get started. We got a lot of calls this year. There's some very interesting trends. But let's start it off. Let's see who we got.
Let's do the thing.
Oh my gosh. Is it video game hangover drunktacular time again? I think it is. Hey, this is Eric, your friend Greencapped. I haven't done anything for the drunktacular in probably a couple years because things have been really strange. But in the words of the immortal philosopher Randy Quaid, hello boys, I'm back. Okay, that probably was more exciting than it should have been. Hey, speaking of the last few weird years, are there any new foods that you've discovered since this whole pandemic thing that you never really had before that you just absolutely adore?
Pandemic food discoveries. Is that what you're... Is it just that? Well, hello, Green Capped. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah.
I think the last appearance on the show, you had left a series of audio logs that we found throughout the course of our adventure. So I'm glad that you were ultimately rescued from BioShock or whatever that game was.
Oh man, maybe that's maybe he would have showed up in the next BioShock. Too bad that got canceled or whatever.
BioShock 3.
The search for Green Captain.
Right. So yeah, DJ, any new foods you've discovered during the course of the last 2 years?
I think just kind of as a result of having to stay home and cook stuff all the time for myself while we've been isolating, I've been playing it pretty safe when it comes to food, so I feel like, nothing especially out of the ordinary, which is not an interesting answer. Although a few months ago, I did have a couple run-ins with natto, though. Do you know what this is?
It's like a fermented something,
yeah, it's
right?
a fermented soybean. And they eat it for breakfast or just, various times throughout the day in Japan. I was looking for, kind of healthy breakfast ideas because I've been doing a lot of, like cereal and eggs and stuff like that, just cooking at home. And I thought, well, let's give the natto a try. And it was not terrible, actually. I'm pleased to report, but...
It's kind of gluey and sticky, right? If I remember correctly,
yeah,
it's got a weird... Yeah.
It looks like you're... it's gluey and sticky. We'll just leave it at that. It hasn't become, a daily thing for me, but I was just like, oh, interesting option. It's a little... I feel like it's a little out there.
Yeah. I don't know if I have an answer for this. I think I have certainly become much more comfortable with mushrooms. That's probably an easy answer. I have never been a huge fan of mushrooms, and it's too bad because sort of as a vegan or vegetarian, for a long time, anytime you went to a restaurant, it was sort of like, oh, here's a grilled portobello. This is what we have for vegans.
Here are all of our mushrooms.
Yeah, and I was never a fan of that thing. Never really enjoyed eating it. And over the last, I would say probably over the last year, I have discovered that portobello mushrooms, specifically prepared well, can be quite delicious.
Oh, good. Well,
yeah.
That probably opens up your dining options quite a bit.
A little bit. I mean, we're living in a golden age of weird vegan foods and restaurants now, so I am never more than 20 feet away from somebody who wants to make me an Impossible Burger. But yeah. It took me a long time to come around on that. I think maybe I had a lot of really poorly prepared mushroom dishes in my life and was just left with the impression that they were kind of slimy and gross. They can be. They absolutely. Yeah, they certainly can be that thing. They are not pleasant to clean and prepare, but if made well, in fajitas or something like that, or on a salad or whatever, they can be quite good.
There's some trick to to cooking them so they don't just become slimy and gross. It's I don't know, you don't put too much oil on them or something like that. I wish I had it off the top of my head, so this would have been useful advice.
Is there anything in the Final Fantasy cookbook?
I think there's a mushroom sauté. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Hold on, we have an emergency question in the chat. Obi Hyde says, "Gonna try Taco Bell for the first time in 25 years. Any advice?" Well, you come to the right place, Obi Hyde.
Here is a food we have strong opinions on.
Finally, somebody asked us a taco question.
25 years. How do you take a 25-year break from Taco Bell? That is
I can imagine
surprising.
that. I mean, not personally, but sure.
Oh, maybe he was incarcerated. I apologize if you were incarcerated.
You never know. if you haven't been there in 25 years, you got to do the Crunch Wrap. It is a marvel of modern taco technology. You just got out.
I would support that. I think Crunchwrap is the way to go. They have taken a lot of fun stuff off the menu, but the Crunchwrap still perseveres.
Yeah. Oh, Baja Blast. Excellent. I think mixed opinions on Baja Blast. You can, like, I don't know if you're vegetarian or vegan, Obi Hyde, but you can make a vegetarian Crunchwrap fairly easily, right? They'll just put beans in it.
Yeah, they do beans instead of meat. And it's the black beans. The black beans at Taco Bell are pretty decent.
Yeah.
They have a nacho party tray that I'm a fan of. I forget. It's maybe $6 or something like that. It's bigger than the Nacho Bel Grande. It's like the extra large nacho.
Geez. Just sitting down with a whole party tray of nachos.
With a trough of party trays. Yeah.
Just a feed
of
bag.
nachos. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Just hook it behind your neck and yeah. Yeah, I like that. I mean, nachos are ubiquitous. You can get nachos anywhere, so maybe that's not the most exciting thing to get at Taco Bell. Well, yeah, I think Crunchwrap is the way to go. I'd back that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, totally behind the Crunchwrap. Oh, interesting. Deadly Gearhead says the zero sugar Baja Blast tastes way better than the regular one.
Oh.
Good to know.
All right. Well, now I have a new homework assignment, apparently. Well, good luck to Obi Hyde. That is super exciting. Let us know what you eat.
Please report back. Especially we want to hear thoughts on the Crunchwrap. Who have we got next? We have a question from Eshin on the Discord, who asks, if you had to live in a game world, for instance, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Final Fantasy XIV Eorzea, Mario Odyssey, etc., which one would it be? You have any strong feelings about this? You cannot say your Animal Crossing island because you already live there.
Okay, well, I was going to say my Animal Crossing island. Yeah. Well, if you take away the one answer that I had prepared, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like, all of those are really fun if you're the main character, right? If you're the NPC, life in San Andreas sucks. You know, if you're one of the things that Mario stomps or possesses with his magical hat in Super Mario Odyssey, life is probably not fun for you in Super Mario Odyssey. The Mushroom Kingdom, constantly under attack by Bowser. And again, if you're Mario, that's probably not such a bad thing. It keeps you employed. But if you are anybody else in the Mushroom Kingdom, life is probably terrifying on the daily. So, I don't know.
What if you're Bowser? What if you're just wrecking the place?
What video game world would you like to be the villain in? Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting twist on that. I didn't think about that.
Hyrule. I mean, it never ends well for Ganon, obviously, but he keeps coming back. The dude perseveres.
It's true, yeah. They all keep
coming back. And by
back.
dude, I mean strange, muscly pigman.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
I don't know which one I would choose. I feel like as much as I like hanging out in Final Fantasy, I don't know if I want to live there. I don't think they have electricity. Like, do they have like running water? Not sure.
Magical lightning from your fingertips?
Yeah, maybe they've got a little of that going on. I was trying to think just like what games have I played recently that I would like to live in, and I thought, Chicory would actually be very pleasant. Because everybody in that is very friendly and wholesome. And, there's not a whole lot of negative energy. It's just a very, very pleasant. There are no enemies in that game. It's very nice.
But you have battles.
Yeah, occasionally you have to fight like a weird paintbrush phantom or something. So I don't know what's going on with that. But only one person has to do that. So odds are it's not you.
Yeah. Yeah, wholesome games are probably the low stress way to go. I think what was the one I played this year? Cozy Grove, where you're a cute little camper on an island helping ghosts find their way home.
Isn't like a graveyard island though?
Yeah, it's spooky. I like spooky though.
Okay, well, if you're into it.
I want to live in Luigi's Mansion.
So the new one's like a hotel though, right? So that might be kind of nice.
Right, yeah. Yeah, every room, every level was a different theme. That's kind of fun.
That's good. You have a kind of your pick. You can move from floor to floor.
Yeah. I don't know. That's tough. Yeah, do I have to be just sort of a nameless, faceless person who might get destroyed at some point, or do I get to be the hero or villain of these stories? That's probably important information to have before I make a decision.
I feel like it can be up to you. Maybe you've always wanted to be Bowser, so go for it. It's your imaginary scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody on the stream says we need to drink more, so...
Okay, all right.
Right.
This is exciting radio.
That's great. Green Captain says he has to go. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for all the questions. We will do our best to get through all of them. Speaking of Green Captain, let's go back to the phone.
We all have entertainment properties and things that we avoid that other people like or are really popular, and sometimes we make fun of them. So this is less of a question and more of a challenge, but is there one thing that each of you in the coming year would be willing to try or watch or experience, again, in entertainment-wise, not asking for some sort of weird, kinky thing, unless you want to, and it's up to you. But is there something that you're willing to try, to give a chance, that you normally kind of look at with disdain?
So this is Green Cap trying to get me to watch Fast and Furious movies.
What do you have against Fast and the Furious?
I have so many things against Fast and the Furious movies. It's a movie about people who like cars.
What's wrong with that?
No, wait, excuse me. It's like 9 movies about people who like cars.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm all right. I think I'm fine with that.
Well, you don't like cars driving fast and doing stunts and things like that? I feel like as they've gone on, it's become less and less about the cars.
And they're like weird heist movies now or something, right?
Yeah. They're like, what if the James Bond, but only the stunts?
Yeah. No, I think I'm good. I'm not going to watch Fast and Furious movies. I almost said Final Fantasy movies. I'm not going to watch those either.
You had to watch one or the other. You either have to watch Fast and the Furious or play a Final Fantasy game.
Maybe that's my sort of entertainment property challenge. I have thus far avoided really sort of engaging with Final Fantasy games in any way, shape, or form. There is a little bit of curiosity. There is, just seeing the new, what's the Endwalker expansion thing just blow up our Discord and the accompanying internet over the last week has made me feel like maybe I'm missing out. Maybe there's something here that I would enjoy.
There's something for everyone.
I watched video footage of it, and I think, nope, definitely not. There's nothing here I would enjoy.
Obi Hyde wants to know, is it about the Fast and the Furious? Is it the speed or the furiosity that you have an issue with?
It is. I think it might be the furiosity, honestly. I think speed is fine, and I don't mean the drug. I mean, going fast is fun. But yeah, what's everybody so furious about?
I think it's just an expression. I mean, there are furious people in those movies, but I don't know if it's like everybody's furious all the time.
Just Vin Diesel being very furious.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. I don't know if I'd say he's furious for most of them, though.
And Jason Statham being very furious.
Yeah, he's pretty furious.
Yeah. And then, Charlize Theron's in the new ones. I'm like, don't you have an Oscar? What are you doing? I don't.
It's just like they're the new Marvel movies. Like, everybody in Hollywood has to show up in one at some point. Either that or, it's either Marvel or Fast and the Furious. Yeah,
I've not really engaged with either. Although I've certainly watched more Marvel movies than I have Fast and the Furious movies, so.
It's unavoidable at this point. Maybe just watch one by accident.
What's the new... I just saw a trailer for a Jared Leto one where he's a vampire who's a doctor. I don't
know which one that one is.
Mobius?
I think that's a thing? I think that's DC. I'm not sure. That might be. I have no idea.
I thought it was connected to Venom somehow.
Oh.
This is where the podcast evolves into an old man tries to define what's happening in pop culture. Yeah. So maybe Final Fantasy. There is the Final Fantasy: The War of the Lions, the one that you said is like a turn-based strategy game that I suspect, after hearing you talk about it for 10 years, potentially I would like and enjoy. In fact, I bought at one point. It is sitting on my Vita waiting to be played. So maybe that's my opportunity to engage with something that I have previously avoided or shunned. or condescended to.
All right. Well, looking forward to it.
Challenge accepted.
All right, you heard it here, folks.
How about you?
For my answer, I just want to let you know that at this moment, I don't know how many of these there were, but I have one of the PS4 Ratchet and Clank games downloaded onto my console. It's like, that was a good expression for people at home. And I fully intend to check it out, although I have to admit a large part of it is just so, like, the next time I feel like dumping on Ratchet and Clank, I'll be able to do it from, like, an informed perspective.
A position of, yeah, sure.
I'll be an expert on it.
I understand.
Not a huge fan of, like, mascot platformers, but I was just like, eventually I just got to give one of these a try, I suppose.
After hearing Randy talk about them for 10 years.
Right.
Have you played like a Ratchet and Clank or a Jak and Daxter or anything to that?
Never.
To that end?
I think I played like a demo of one of them, and I was just like, this is fine. I don't need 40 hours of this or whatever it is.
But you were never that kind of gamer.
No, I clock out as soon as there's like more than 100 things on the screen to collect. It's like, it's not my scene.
That's fair. You do like a good Mario game, though. I know this about you.
I do, but I feel like those are like designed very differently than most other 3D platformers. Yeah. So, 2022, the year of Ratchet and Clank and Final Fantasy Tactics. That'll be excellent.
Sure. So, which is not unlike 2021, but just somehow reversed.
Wait. Man, all the Final Fantasy games are different. You can't group them like that. That's your first mistake.
Sure.
Next question comes from Cube00 on the Discord. Do you have a genre or a series of games that you used to love but no longer care about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You have one?
First-person shooters.
Oh, really?
Oof.
I thought you were just playing Deathloop or whatever.
Yeah.
Not into it.
That was the gold standard for a long time. First person, Halo. Halo was a thing. I played a lot of those Halo games.
Yeah, like every other game was a first-person shooter.
Call of Duty. I played all of those things. Oh wait, Morbius is a spider villain who is known as the Living Vampire.
Is he a spider or a vampire? Which one?
Oh, I think maybe he's a spider villain. So maybe he's a Spider-Man villain?
Oh, I see. A spider villain. They have their own classification.
Yeah. Well, like Venom. Like I was right. It's like a Venom thing.
Okay, so it is Marvel. Interesting.
Don't challenge me on this, DJ. I know what I'm talking about.
I know better than to challenge your MCU with comprehensive knowledge.
What were we talking about? I feel like I should consult for the show. GD Milkman in the Discord chiming in to set us straight. Thank you. What was the question? What were we talking about? Oh, first-person shooters. Not a fan of the first-person shooters these days. It is very hard for me to see a first-person shooter in action and think, oh, this looks like fun. This looks like a thing I've not done before or would enjoy doing in a video game. Deathloop being the kind of rare exception. I like what Arcane brings to the fold when they do their video games, and I think there's some fun stuff happening there that sort of goes beyond the standard Call of Duty thing.
I'd say,
and yes, not all first-person shooters are Call of Duty. I get that, of course, but that's generally where my brain goes when I see a first-person shooter in action.
I'd probably say the same thing. Like I don't know if it was because I was just into first-person shooters. I don't know if I ever consider myself like a first-person shooter fanatic, but it did seem like for a while every other game that would come out would be a first-person shooter, or like a third-person shooter, which is very similar. And there are just so many.
A good third person, though.
I just feel like they made all of them, so they can stop making them now. We can try something else.
We get it. We know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like some of those are very good, but it's rare these days that one comes out and looks like something I just haven't played 100 times already.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go with that as well.
And I will clarify that my point really just sort of applies to any game where you're like a hand and a gun. The like walking simulators.
Like a first-person shooter.
Yeah, exactly. First-person like puzzle games or exploration-based games or, things like that sort of go beyond the standard, just shooting dudes with a gun and then trying to find a bigger gun to shoot more dudes. I'm still okay with that. That still works for me if done well and in a creative way. Yeah, Portal is a first-person shooter if you think about it. I love that game. So yeah, it's all on how you sort of apply it.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got next? We have another call. I wonder who called in.
Roller coasters, yes or no?
Oh, that's a quick one. How do you feel about roller coasters?
I'm a fan of roller coasters.
You are.
Next question. No, I like roller coasters. I like going to amusement parks. Sarah and I have traveled the world in search of cool roller coasters. Whenever we go someplace neat and fun on a vacation, we look to see if there's an amusement park and if they have a cool roller coaster. I gained some COVID weight, and I found that I couldn't fit on a roller coaster that I like to go on once upon a time. So
that
I came
is
home.
humbling.
Yeah, no. Oh, humbling is sitting in the seat and realizing it won't buckle, and then having to sort of get up out of the seat, wave to everybody who was waiting for you to get your shit together, and sort of exit the ride. That was a rough day. That was really bad. Came home from that vacation and started exercising and dieting and trying to get my shit together weight wise. And I'm happy to report that I was able to go back to that amusement park at the end of the summer and go on that ride. So yeah, I like roller coasters. I'm a fan. Let's go to roller coasters.
Let's go to roller coasters. I think I like roller coasters. It's been a long time since I've been to like a theme park. But, yeah, generally pretty good. I don't have a lot of well-developed roller coaster thoughts, unfortunately.
Favorite roller coaster?
My favorite one was, God, it probably doesn't even exist anymore. This was so long ago. But it was at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Southern California. There's one called X, which was like, I forget how they described it. There were a lot of marketing buzzwords around this thing. But you were like hanging down, and at certain points it would like invert itself and it would like corkscrew around.
Oh, neat.
And I was like, well, that looks interesting. I wonder what this will be like. And I went on it, and like as soon as it like really got started, I just like lost all sense of like where I was and like which direction I was facing. I was just like the most disoriented I've ever been in my life.
That's excellent.
But after it was all over, I was just like, oh, that was interesting. How about you? Have any recommendations?
There's one at Busch Gardens in Virginia that is what's it called? They're for Bolton. It is it has sort of a German Autobahn kind of vibe to it. Like all of the cars look like sort of race cars and stuff like that. And there is a woman with a jaunty German accent who narrates the thing while you're waiting in line and stuff. And then you get in, and it sort of pitches itself as being a ride through the Black Forest of Germany on a race car. And you sort of zip around, and it does turns and stuff like that. And there's cars sort of running near you and stuff. And it's super cool. And then you enter the Black Forest, and it turns into a dark ride, which is totally not visible from the outside. You go into a cave, and then the floor drops out, and there's like black lights and stuff like that. It's super cool. So it's a really cool roller coaster that ultimately turns into a spooky dark ride, and then finishes, as a roller coaster again. It's very cool and super unexpected. And the first time I went on it, not knowing any of this, it kind of broke my brain.
I was gonna say it's probably pretty terrifying the first time you go on it, and you just like black out in the middle.
You do. You get to sort of like it's pitch black, and I'm like, "What is happening? What?" And then the floor drops out, so the track actually drops in the dark, and there's black light, sort of illuminated stuff. It's very cool. I'm a huge fan of it, so would recommend.
Nice, Verbolten. All right. Okay, next question.
Yeah,
this comes from Das Flicko on the Discord.
Hey,
says, "What's the one gaming experience you'd like to have wiped from your memory so you could experience it again?" And why? Also, how do you...
Riding the Verbolten!
Also, how do you think your current self would react to re-experiencing this for the first time compared to the first time you experienced it? Is that your answer? You want to go on a roller coaster again?
I will admit, it's like diminishing returns. It's not nearly as fun like the second or 50th time you go on it, when you know that the hook is coming. So yeah, there's certainly that. Jeez. I don't know.
While you're thinking about it, I will say probably Shadow of the Colossus for me. That game was so surprising and unique and just kind of mysterious that I would love to go into it fresh. Like they've done a couple of remakes at this point, where they did like a remaster or whatever, which I was super excited for, and just going back to it again just was not quite the same experience as the first time, because I just knew, I already knew everything that was going to happen, so kind of the magic was gone.
Animal Crossing is sort of my easy answer for everything, but Animal Crossing Wild World specifically was the first Animal Crossing game I bought. Completely played in a vacuum. Obviously, this is before. I mean, not before the internet. That's ridiculous. But like before the point at which, like, I would immediately go to the internet for answers about anything I was struggling with in a video game.
Right.
So it was played from a perspective of a complete discovery, like sort of sussing out the secrets and trying to figure out, like, why do some of the holes in the ground light up gold and stuff like that, and like, oh, if I bury money, like, had no idea about any of these things. So it was, and the game doesn't explain sort of any of its sort of Animal Crossing secrets. So it is, it was completely a surprise to me to sort of suss out all of these things, to learn how Feng Shui worked and how luck worked in the game, and all of these little sort of invisible kind of behind the scenes mechanics, were not spelled out in the little guidebook or anything like that. And I certainly was not on a subreddit dedicated to Animal Crossing that was going to sort of spoil all the secrets for me and things. So it was, every day in that game was just sort of like, oh my God, I can't believe this works this way. Or like, what is happening? I don't understand why it works this way. Yeah, and obviously, sort of, again, diminishing returns, playing subsequent Animal Crossing games and sort of knowing all of those secrets and knowing how to, like, break the game and exploit all those things takes a little bit of the fun out of it. There is something nice about sort of the familiarity of those things, but, it is a little less surprising over time.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. As much as I was ready to roll my eyes when you said Animal Crossing. But yeah, like the very first time you play Animal Crossing, it's just so much stuff you don't know about it. You don't even... any idea what to expect, so that would actually be
it's
really
such a
fun.
weird game played in a vacuum.
Yeah,
Yeah. I envy the people who came to New Horizons in 2020, like with no history of playing Animal Crossing games before, because you get sort of the coolest, prettiest version of Animal Crossing, and all of those sort of weird secrets are still in there to suss out. But at least you had sort of the global community of the internet to kind of support you in trying to suss them out. I feel like maybe I didn't have that when I played Wild World on the DS.
Yeah. An interesting thing about Wild World is, like, when New Horizons came out, I was trying to go back and, like, look up a bunch of stuff about Wild World, and it's surprisingly difficult to find, like, resources online about that game. Just because it kind of came out, I think, before, like, every single game just had a fan-run wiki about it. So I think it was just a bunch of, like, one-off, like, websites people put together to, have their own little repository of information.
Right.
But there's just no centralized, like, Wild World resource, which made me kind of sad. It's kind of like, almost feels like it's in danger of being lost to history. Let's see. We have another call.
I'm still enjoying the occasional VR game, either on the PSVR or the Oculus Quest that I got earlier this year. And I'm just wondering, is there anything in the VR space that you've seen or heard that's kind of piqued your interest a little more? I don't know, the Resident Evil 4 VR remake, DJ, there's a lot of rhythm games, Beat Saber, tons of them, really. Anything?
They didn't introduce themselves. I'm pretty sure that's a Green Captain, though.
Could be, yeah. I think it's possible.
Sounds familiar. Any interest in VR? Is there anything that's going to get you to make the jump?
No.
No, just never.
No, Beat Saber is interesting because I love watching other people play Beat Saber.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I've talked about this on the show before, is that I do enjoy the occasional video that sort of makes its way into my YouTube feed of some song I like being played by somebody who's really good at Beat Saber. If they get the cool setup where you sort of see them kind of flailing their arms and you get to see their screen and hear the music, and that totally works for me, and I think it's super fun. There's no part of me that thinks I would be good at that game at all, and I've never tried it, so that's only based on me watching people who are good at it play it. But I think, Beat Saber's cool. Not enough for me to buy a machine, but that's neat. That Half-Life game looks super cool. I would play the crap out of that if it was probably not a VR game and I could just play it on my PS5.
Yeah, I do really want to play that Half-Life game. I heard that's actually
Alex.
like Half-Life Alex, yeah. That's very good. Beat Saber, sure. I'm curious about Resident Evil 4 VR. To me, it's kind of funny that they even made it. I mean, on some level, I know that Resident Evil 4 just eventually comes out on every platform, so it was inevitable.
Exactly.
But it's interesting because that game was really not. I mean, clearly it wasn't designed with VR in mind, but I could see it being
sort
an
of
interesting
predates
experience.
the era of VR by quite a few years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, would I enjoy that more? I don't know. It sounds like it might actually be terrifying if, because they're just hordes of zombies or whatever. And they're just, like, right there if you're, playing it in VR. I don't know if I would enjoy that. But I am curious, like, the thing about Half-Life that intrigues me, and I mean, and this goes beyond Half-Life, it's like other VR games as well, but all the little interactions in games which are so trivial that just become like a very specific thing that you have to deal with in VR, like reloading a gun. A couple of games I played in VR, it was like a shooting range or whatever, so you would actually have to, like, I'm not a gun person, so I'm just gonna get all the terminology wrong. It's like you have to like pull the slide back and like eject the casing or whatever, and then put in more bullets.
Take out the widget, put in the new widget.
Put in the other widget. And I'm curious, I don't know if that's how the new Resident Evil 4 works. If you actually have to like do all the gun reloading stuff, because that's like, everybody always posts the gif of Leon Kennedy reloading that sniper rifle, and he's like a master at it. He does it like less than a second. It's like, oh wait, so would I then have to like do all of that stuff that he's doing? Could be interesting, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for VR games to reach that kind of like critical mass where I'm willing to make the investment, and up to this point, it's not there yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I looked into it because of that Half-Life game, and oh boy, is it expensive. So it's going to take a few more killer apps to get me on board.
Yeah. Or if you just wait long enough, they eventually sort of release a somewhat gimped version of it that is not VR dependent, and that has not happened with Half-Life Alyx yet, but some other VR games have made that eventual move to non-VR.
Yeah, but then it's like, then you're just not playing it in VR, and then it's like much less interesting.
Well, then it's just Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, and I can play that already. Deadly Gearhead in the chat says the Rogue Squadron game in VR is awesome. It sounds cool. I mean, I think that's one of the best cases for VR, is like all these like flight sim kind of deals where you're not like a character moving around, you're just sitting in a cockpit or something. That would be fun. The Gothicoran says wants .hack in VR. Those are like JRPGs, aren't they? How does that work in VR? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know. I have a lot of unanswered questions about VR. Like, I know some people are like super into it, but to me, I'm just like not totally getting the appeal.
Yeah. The buy-in seems very expensive. Like, if it, I already bought a PS5. If the PS5 that I bought could just do that, and I didn't have to spend another several $100s to appreciate it, I would probably give it a shot. But the fact that you have to sort of buy in at that price, and it really only is compelling for a few games for me at this point, does not seem like it's worth the sort of cost differential.
Yeah, like I said, just waiting for it to hit critical mass. Next question, we have another question from Eshin on the Discord. It says, will Randy's game of the year be Animal Crossing, Ratchet and Clank, or Psychonauts?
Well, it can't be Animal Crossing
wasn't even this year, but I mean,
that wasn't this year.
I could see why he would put it on the list. Is it just Animal Crossing every year?
It's a completely different game this year. That November patch was quite an upgrade.
I had to every single time somebody says like it's a completely new game, like Animal Crossing fans, get a hold of yourselves. It's mostly the same game.
Yeah,
there are vegetables now.
True. And there are froggy chairs.
It's true. It was a large component that was missing.
So no, it won't be Animal Crossing, even on a technicality. And I've not played the Happy Home Designer yet, so Happy Home Paradise, which is sort of the new Animal Crossing game.
That's the new game.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So I can't include that on my list. But yeah, will it be Ratchet and Clank or will it be Psychonauts 2? I hard to say.
Is it down to those two? Those are the two front runners?
I think that's a fair consideration for me at this point. Those are probably the two gaming experiences looking back upon the last year that I have enjoyed the most, and have sort of been quite obsessive about sort of experiencing. To date, though, as we are recording this in the beginning of December, I've only finished Psychonauts 2. So if finishing the game is a component of whether or not it should qualify as my game of the year, then Ratchet and Clank is so far unfinished. I hope to wrap it up over the holidays, but we'll see how it goes.
Interesting.
But yeah, both fine games.
I'm going to say your game of the year will end up being Psychonauts. I've heard a lot of people pick that one, so I'll just throw you into that bucket.
Yeah. If I had to sort of pick from the games that I've finished thus far this year, that's easy. Yeah, absolutely, Psychonauts 2.
Nice.
How about you, DJ? What is? And I know the question wasn't necessarily pitched in your direction, but
my game of the year is neither Psychonauts nor Ratchet & Clank.
Final Fantasy.
It's really good. I still haven't finished it. I think this weekend I'll probably get through it. And it's a total cop out for me to say that, but it's really good. It's really surprising, some of the stuff they do in it. But I kind of wanted to say, I had such a good time with Valheim earlier this year that I think that'll be up there.
Has that stuck? Do you continue to go back to that?
No, we've really dropped off because they have not been great about updating it. But I'm not really judging them. I know a lot of people are super angry about the lack of updates, but it's still a great game. Not every game needs to get constant updates.
And not every developer has the resource to continue, keeping it fresh for you every day.
Right. The team was 6 people when that launched, so
wow,
give a break. Gothcorn says Valheim pre-patch or post-patch? Pre-patch. I haven't put a lot of hours into it since the most recent big update, the Hearth and Home thing. I know that some people were having issues with some of the new stuff, the changes, but the majority of my playtime was pre-patch.
I'm going to open another beer.
All right.
I finished that pumpkin thing. It was good.
Are you feeling that
it's
7% or whatever?
It's a little blurry around the edges. Still totally functional, though.
All right, well.
I think I'm going to tear into this marshmallow chocolate thing next.
I'm so fascinated by, you go to the liquor store now and half of it sounds like a dessert bar.
I can attest that I work in a dispensary, and half of the things that we sell sound like flavors of coffee that I would never drink.
Well, sure.
It's all...
but you're talking about not the actual sort of candy and edibles and whatever.
No, I'm talking about just sort of flower strains and vape cartridges and things like that are all candy corn, and we just got in a candy cane one for the holidays.
Festive.
If you're trying to get high on Christmas, then this thing that tastes like peppermint is the way to go. So yeah, it's a lot of very pumpkin spice lattes.
I do like a peppermint mocha. Maybe I would like a peppermint mocha, a joint or whatever. I don't know.
We have a chocolope. That might be your thing. Yeah.
What is a chocolope?
I don't know what the lope part is.
That's the part I'm interested in. What is the lope part?
But yeah, I think it's like a candy bar kind of vibe.
Okay. I mean, that sounds great even without the weed.
Sure.
Okay, while you're opening that up, we have another question.
Every once in a while talking about games, the concept of game Sherpas comes up. The concept of a player who's more experienced in a certain game, taking other players under their wings, helping them level up, helping them figure out the intricate systems of more complex games. So my question to you is, what do you feel about that? What's your feelings on either being a Sherpa or being Sherpa'd, if that's the proper term? I'm a little torn on it myself. It's happened a couple times where I've had people show me the ropes of a game, and it, to me, kind of distracts from the game itself, because the focus is usually so, much on just getting through as quickly as possible to get you up to a certain level, or to do the things that the player who's already experienced it knows. So anyway, what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts on game Sherpas?
What is the intent of the Sherpa? Is it to I know more about this than you, so let me walk you through it. Let me, gamesplain the the intricacies of this game that clearly you're not playing correctly. Yeah, I don't know. I think sense of discovery is important, and if games are well made to sort of accommodate that, to sort of usher you through sort of naturally that sense of discovery, then just play the game, man. Just marinate in it. Just sort of let it happen. yeah, if it's particularly dense, or you're particularly impatient, or hey, you're just trying to sort of level up fast enough to get to your friend's level so the two of you can play together, then it's a means to an end. I think that's fine. Yeah. So it depends on sort of application and intent in a lot of ways.
I think that covers it. The first thing that I thought of when you mentioned having somebody to sort of show you the ropes was I constantly had to remind myself that if I had not had one of my friends literally sit down next to me on the couch and walk me through the first couple hours of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP, I would not enjoy those games at all. Like, I tried to play them, and they're just incomprehensible if you do not have somebody, at least the earlier ones were, if you didn't have somebody there, like, sort of pointing out every little detail about what you're supposed to be doing in them.
Yeah. Well, that was my experience playing the demo for Monster Hunter Rise with you. It's just so dense and so weird, and particularly in sort of the context of that demo, not well explained at all, that had you not been there to get me to the end of it, there's no way I would have seen the end of it.
Yeah, not a good demo. And it's not even like... It's come so far since the PSP versions. And even still, it's just like, not great. But yeah, I think it really depends on... First of all, what the person being a Sherpa wants to get out of it, plus a little bit of like the Sherpa's intent as well. But I feel like if there are some cases where it's very helpful, like if it helps them get into a game and understand things about the game that would not have been obvious to them before. Sometimes that's important. But I don't like the sound of the other case he was describing of somebody, like their friend, just trying to power level them up to the point where they are in the game. So they can, like, I don't know, do co-op raids or something. Because unless the new player specifically wants that, I feel like, don't make them rush through the game, right? Let them enjoy it for the first time, because there's, like, you only play a game for the first time once. So I would hate for that to just be, like, somebody rushing you through every single, like, level in the game or whatever it is. Just so you can get caught up and do the end game stuff.
Yeah, I had an experience during the early days of Animal Crossing, because again, everything comes back to Animal Crossing, where I had we were still quarantined at that point, still not back to work, and I had a coworker who's her and her son were trying to sort of play Animal Crossing together, and again, just a little frustrated by some of the kind of obtuse elements of the game. Were constantly strapped for cash and didn't feel like they had the resources to do the stuff they wanted to do. So I'm like, hey, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. And I tried to sort of be careful enough about not going to the point where I would say, well, you're not playing it the way that I would play it. You're not doing the things that I would do. But just sort of trying to gently sort of lead them down the path of understanding some of those systems. And I also gave them like 10 million bells to kind of help kind of grease the wheels, because I had it to spare. So it could either sit and grow just the tiniest bit of interest in my account, or I could help somebody else have fun with this thing. So I filled my pockets full of money and went to their island and dropped it off.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I feel like that kind of stuff is probably important and helpful, and maybe sort of reignited the fun in that game for that family. But yeah, it was never from a perspective of trying to get them to sort of play the game right, or play the game the way that I think that it should be played. So again, I think, what is your intent? What are you trying to get out of this as sort of the expert?
I had something else I was going to say about Monster Hunter, but I totally lost it at this point. Although, looking in the chat, so Dustflico in the chat, that's Paul, by the way. I don't know if he said that earlier. He says Randy would make a good light bow gun main in Monster Hunter, which I think that's accurate, because at that point, like in the recent ones, the light bow gun is basically just you're playing a third person shooter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're gonna give Monster Hunter another shot, light bow gun. I think that's the way.
That's the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was one of the weapons in the demo, so that might not have been an option.
Oh well. If you ever have second thoughts, plus then you get good at that, you can use the heavy bow gun, which is just like this enormous anti-tank rifle. It's awesome.
I need a medium bow gun.
Medium
Do you have
bow
anything
gun.
in a medium? Yeah.
No, it's either light or heavy. You gotta, commit.
I need a venti, not a tall.
Yeah. Was that the entire question? I think it was.
I think it was, yeah.
All right. We have another question. This comes from Deadly Gearhead on the Discord, who asks, what's one underrated video game or series that kind of disappeared or was dumped by developers that you still wish existed or gained more appreciation? Mine is the Beautiful Joe series. I remember Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, me too.
That did kind of go away. What happened to that thing?
And there were a few of them over kind of a relatively brief period of time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I want to say, he reappeared in, Marvel vs. Capcom, or, Wonderful 101 was another Platinum game, I think. But yeah, he hasn't really had his own game in a while.
Oh, was that Platinum? I don't think I realized that.
I think it was, pre-Platinum, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I wrote this down somewhere. I have an answer.
The one that I always come back to in my brain is the Siphon Filter games. And mostly because I want another Splinter Cell so badly, and that's probably another good answer as well, but I feel like Siphon Filter was kind of a PS1, PS2 series, very kind of espionage based. You had kind of a cool collection of weapons. It had a little James Bond, it had a little Splinter Cell. It kind of scratched a lot of video game itches for me, third person. You creeping around, trying to take down bad guys, trying to stop a global pandemic from breaking out. I think, wouldn't it be cool? Hopefully it would be cool if, Sony started an E3 trailer with this resurrection of the Siphon Filter series. I don't know. That's a pretty deep pull. I don't know if anybody other than me is clamoring for the resurrection of the Siphon Filter series, but I always feel like there was enough stuff in those games that could be super entertaining if, applied in a modern setting.
What is the hook of those games? I know it's very espionage focused. If they're gonna make a new one, what would make it stand out from, I don't know, Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, it would have to. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that those games kind of were doing more recently that Siphon Filter could do. Yeah, I mean, they all kind of scratched a lot of the same itches. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just, I want a game like that. I like espionage. I like kind of global intrigue. I like, heroes jetting around the world, sneaking into compounds and hacking a computer and things like that. I think stuff like that is super fun in video games when done well. And I feel like I've exploited and played a lot of those and have had fun with the games that are on offer. But I don't know, just something about the experience of playing the Siphon Filter games kind of as a baby gamer at that point was super fun to me, and I don't remember having other experiences like that at the time. And I've always sort of wondered if it would work in a modern package.
What are the are there recent stealth games that have been making headlines? I can't recall any.
No, nor can I.
Paul says Operation Tango. We played that one, right? That was the co-op one?
We did play that, yeah. Was that stealth?
It was. Yeah, it wasn't really stealth in the same way as Splinter Cell or Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And it was spy themed.
Yeah, it was definitely espionage. It certainly had a James Bond kind of vibe to it, I think, a co-op James Bond vibe. It was a lot of sort of avoiding laser grids and solving puzzles to turn off cameras and things like that. Yeah, that was fun. We had a good time with that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I like they made a Bourne Identity game, Bourne Supremacy game that was a lot of fun. I thought that was really cool. I played that. That was an Xbox game, I think, the first Xbox. And again, one of those things where it was sort of Jason Bourne flying around the world, beating up bad guys and solving mysteries, hacking the computer when he had to, and things like that, downloading the virus or whatever. All that stuff, I don't know, I still find oddly entertaining in media.
Should make a Mission Impossible game or something.
Yeah. Or any of those James Bond video games, which I played the shit out of.
Okay, so the games I wrote down that have disappeared are Front Mission. To be fair, that it barely even appeared to begin with in the US anyway. I think there were maybe 3 of them came out over here. But I would love to, I'd love for them to give that series another shot, although I feel like the last few attempts were received so poorly that its chances are pretty slim at this point. And then I also wrote down Capcom versus SNK 2, which is a crossover fighting game from like 20 years ago. Which, man, when it came out, it was just like the dream game. The whole cast of these Capcom and SNK fighting franchises, like all together in one game. It was like unbelievable. And I just feel like it's been so long. The fighting game landscape has changed so much. Actually, it's kind of come back around. I was going to say like SNK went away for a while. But now they're kind of back, like the new King of Fighters everybody seems pretty excited about. Maybe they could do another one of those. But just one of those like dream crossover games. Super exciting. That's another genre of games that I'm just not into as much these days, like fighting games.
Fighting games, yeah. I've never really clicked with that one. So in our Discord chat, Dustflicko Paul says that the siphon filter taser was the GOAT.
The GOAT.
And I remember that very distinctly in that in Siphon Filter, your sort of like your non-lethal weapon was a taser, and you could sneak up behind evil scientists and zap them, and just a quick zap they'd pass out and fall down in a clump on the ground, and you could sort of bypass them. But if you held the button down, it would continue to zap them until they burst into flames. And then
that suddenly sounds very lethal.
And then died. You had a choice of it. Paul in the chat says yes. You had a choice of how you could sort of deploy that at the time, and it was fun. It was super fun because Siphon Filter, I think Siphon Filter 2 actually had 4-player split screen co-op, and you could do a tasers only match where you just run around with your friends and try to tase the hell out of them. So
that doesn't sound very cooperative to me.
Did I say co-op? I just meant four player competitive. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember that very distinctly. I need to look up YouTube footage of taser deaths from Siphon Filter.
Okay, I see. Everybody just wants Siphon Filter to come back so they can like set their friends on fire with their supposedly non-lethal taser.
When there's nothing left to burn, you set your friends on fire.
Yeah. Digilam says in the Twitch chat, "Good evening, finally home. How's it going so far?" I think it's going pretty good. I think we're about halfway through the questions. We're gonna take a little break, so we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll say like 5 minutes.
Everyone, go to the lobby, get some popcorn, get a soda,
refill your beverages, and we will be back shortly.
One, two, three, and we're back. And this time, I mean it.
Okay, this time we actually are back.
Yeah. This is how the sausage is made. Yes.
Yeah.
Paul says we should drink more. I am partially through my second beverage. DJ, how are you doing?
I ran out of my tea, so I just switched over to. I'm gonna give a shout out to this is my current favorite beer. Sapporo Pure. So yeah, settling in for part 2.
For a long winter's nap.
Also that.
Yeah.
Also
what do we got? Let's do some questions.
Let's do some more questions. We got Eshin in the chat. Oh, it's that guy. Says I'm here. What did I miss? Well, you missed the first half. Yeah. But don't worry, that'll be out next week.
We talked about you.
Yeah. We did get to some of your questions, but we will get into... oh, man. Somebody is asking me very interesting questions.
Oh.
Torque Caliburn. We have a list of questions. I'm going to answer this one right away. Torque Caliburn says, Medley, who's your favorite Dalnet channel square friend? I think that would have to be Mr. Torque Caliburn, right? Jeez.
I don't understand the question.
Nobody knows what's happening. This is just between me and this guy right now. Jesus.
Take it offline.
Take it offline. This is a guy I used to hang out with in high school on the internet chats. Wow.
Was this AOL or CompuServe?
No, this was IRC. This was like,
Oh.
yeah, this was like hardcore. This is not, not for the faint of heart. This is for the people who had nothing better to do. We used to hang out in an old, you're going to think this is hilarious, in an old Squaresoft discussion channel. You know those guys. Talking about Final Fantasy and all that good stuff.
It's about what I expected.
Wow, I did not expect Torque to show up here this evening.
That's fun.
Wild. I'm not sure what to do now.
Let's do the show. We promised the people.
Let's get on with the show. Jeez.
Oh, hey. Das Flicko, a.k.a. Paul, says that he
Paul
also...
was there, too. Yeah, that's actually how I met Paul. Jeez. This is... Wow. Second half going to be super weird. Man.
Would you guys like to be alone?
I don't know. Man. Great to see you, Tark. That's unbelievable. That was not expecting that at all. Okay, welcome to part 2. Let's go to the phones. We have another call. You'll never guess who it's from.
Randy, have you had a corn dog yet? I mean, vegan, sure. But really, have you had a corn dog yet?
I have not. I'm 47 years corn dog free.
47 years. So that's like you've never had one.
I have never had a corn dog in my life.
What's keeping you away?
It's a hot dog on a stick with breading and fried. That doesn't.
Yeah, what's not to like about that?
I see that as a negative. You clearly see that as a positive.
Hot dog, fried on a stick.
Stick food. Yeah,
Stick
food. No, that does not appeal to me. And I see I go to the grocery store occasionally, and there's the little Morningstar little corn dogs, and they are vegan. And no, I can't. Just don't think I could do it.
I had to say, so this is a callback to a Drunktacular from many years ago.
Correct.
Where we talked about corn dogs. I don't remember the original question, but they were discussed.
That was the question. Corn dog?
Corn dog?
That was the whole question.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to say, so Randy may not have eaten one, but as a result of that question, I went out and I ate so many corn dogs because of that question.
Excellent. DJ has done all the corn dog work that this show requires.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was probably also, like, I don't know if I had eaten a corn dog before that. Like, I must have, right? It was definitely, like, it was breaking my streak. Like, I had a corn dog dry spell for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
The people have spoken. I think at some point you need to get a vegan corn dog.
Just get it together, eat a corn dog.
Yeah, just eat a corn dog.
Live on the air.
Live a little bit.
As it just so happens, I have a plate of corn dogs right... No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking. I don't. There's no...
Why would you do that to me? I'm so excited.
No, it's not going to happen.
Terrible. Terrible.
What the internet does not need is footage of me just going to town on a corn dog. That would not be good.
So you say that, but I think that's exactly what the people want to see. I mean, clearly they're calling in to ask about it, so there is some desire.
Yeah. Well, there's that old showman terms. Do not give the people what they want. That's exactly. That's how that goes,
say.
Right?
I think that's you got it.
Ignore what the people want.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, let's do another question. You have another question?
Wait a minute. There's maybe somebody just handed me a court. No, I'm kidding.
You can't keep doing this to me.
I'm getting chided in 2 different types of chat about not having a corn dog.
Rightfully, like deservedly so. Okay, next question.
I'm a chubby dude. I like gross food. Trust me. This is not. I have no. I have eaten various forms of mac and cheese throughout my life. Just lots and lots of things.
Have you had mac and cheese on a stick?
I've not. No, but I've had fried mac and cheese. I had mac and cheese on a donut one time.
I don't know about that.
I went to a vegan mac and cheese festival, if you could imagine such a thing. And there was one of the vendors had little glazed donuts with a little mountain of breaded fried mac and cheese on top of it. And I ate like 3 of them.
I always think of like, I feel like, you know, whenever somebody says like, oh, you know, I'm vegan or vegetarian, there's like the implication that it's like a slightly healthier lifestyle. And then they're just like, oh yeah, I went to a macaroni and donut festival. Just like,
but it was all vegan, so it's like
doing?
salads. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed nobody told me about the macaroni festival.
Next time, they've been on hiatus because of the Rona, but should it magically reappear, I'll get it on your calendar.
Yeah, you know, you really look like health first when you're attending the macaroni and donut festival.
It's the macaroni, donut, and salad festival.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All the food groups. We have another question from Cube on the Discord who says, name a game that you always wanted to go back and finish. Well, this should be easy for you.
Persona 5.
Persona 5. Whereabouts are you in the Persona 5 at this point?
70 hours is the number I remember.
That's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours.
It's got to be right at the end. You got like half an hour left.
That would be so disappointing if for 3 years I just did not finish Persona because I had 30 minutes left. I don't think that's so...
Those last 30 minutes are the hardest. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly. I just never want it to end. I don't have an answer for this question if I finish Persona 5. That's not true. I have thousands of answers to this question. Dragon Quest 11, which I did not nearly get as far in.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What happened? I want to know about Yakuza 7. That has kind of dropped out of the discussion the last few months.
That was a lot of hours, too. That had to be somewhere between 60 plus hours, I assume, 60 and 70. How long is that game?
That's a long game. That's a very long game.
Yeah. It got really hard. Really, like, just brutally, punishingly hard.
It gets unfairly difficult towards the end. It's a miracle anybody finishes that game, honestly.
Yeah. And I don't believe in miracles, so I didn't finish it. So, yeah. I've never seen the end of Yakuza 7. I like that game. I will play Yakuza 8 when it comes out. But just never saw the end of it. I don't feel like
people in the chat are just distraught. They're like unsubscribing.
Pulling their hair out. I'm not doing anything for our listenership right now. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So with apologies. Yeah.
What is
you, DJ? What do you got?
I thought I had an answer to this. Oh no, I know what it is.
No, you finished every game.
For the I wish that was true. For the longest time, it was Super Mario RPG, but I did that. I finished it last year, so I was very happy about that. So I think now the new answer is Dishonored 2. I just I don't know what it is. I just take such long breaks from that game, and I have such a great time playing it when I'm actually playing it. I just I don't know.
I've also not finished that game. I like it. I like everything I've done in that game, but just have not been able to get across the finish line.
It's so I feel like it's so dense when you're playing that game because it's very it demands a lot of attention because it's a stealth game, and you have to collect all these notes and pay attention to clues and everything. It's just very demanding to me. So it's not a great game for just sitting down and chilling out for a few hours.
No, it's not that game.
So I don't know. Everybody in the chat's talking about Final Fantasy. Anyway, so that's that question. We have another call. Let's go to this call.
Hey guys, congratulations on another year. This is the goddamn Milkman calling in from soon to be your biggest competition in the podcast world, Co-op Button. But I just wanted to ask off of that theme, what games are you guys looking forward to playing with each other moving forward through the next year, not just, independent of each other? Make that friendship grow. Hopefully we'll hear more and hope to talk to you soon more in the Discord. Have a good one. Bye.
Oh, hello, goddamn Milkman.
Yeah.
An occasional visitor to our Discord. It's always exciting to hear from them. I unfortunately did not hear the question, DJ. Could you translate for me?
Didn't hear the question. Okay, so the question was, what games are you looking forward to playing together in the next year? So,
what are we looking for playing together?
Games. I don't know. This is an interesting question because I don't play a lot of co-op games. So just in general.
But when I play them with DJ.
That's true. I would. Well, so I was really looking forward to playing We Were Here Together, which is the third installment in that series that we've played. We've been playing during Extra Life the last few years. And I forget what happened. There were like technical issues this year. We just couldn't get it to work, which was very disappointing. So, I'd love to actually get a chance to check that one out, but I don't know how much patience I have for just doing like tech support at home.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah, those are always fun. I enjoy those. I like those, what was the other one we played? Operation Tango. It's a game sort of like that.
We have more of that to play.
We have more of that to play, and that's one of those things where, like, I have a job for a little while, you have a job for a little while, we try to help each other out, hope the other person doesn't get killed in a horrible manner. Right. Those are fun, yeah.
Usually, I am the one getting killed in a horrible manner. If I remember
it does seem to be that if there is a person getting sort of frozen to death or impaled on something horrible, it does seem to be DJ quite a bit.
Every time I'm like, this time I'm going to pick the other role so I don't get killed. And it's just like, I still manage to get to like all the situations which are actually dangerous.
Paul in the chat just says, embrace death.
That's good. There's the show title.
Yeah. I don't know. What would we like to play together? Geez, I would love for Portal 3 to be a thing, and I would play the hell out of that with DJ because we had a lot of fun with Portal 2.
That's true.
It is probably one of my fondest video game memories.
Oh.
Yeah.
What other co-op games are coming up? I feel like this is more on your radar than mine.
I don't have anything on my radar, unfortunately. I have sort of hopeful sequels. Paul says we should play more Back 4 Blood. That might not be your thing. I don't think that was ever your thing, right?
No, not a Left 4 Dead guy.
Yeah. Paul and I have played a lot of Division together. We played Division 1 and 2 in their entirety together, and those are a lot of fun co-op. I don't know. Something like that. It is usually some like stealth release, some surprise thing out of nowhere that I'm sort of like, oh my god, I need friends to play this with. And that's where you come in, DJ.
Okay, glad I'm useful for something. I don't know.
In my hour of need.
I have always, I'll just put this out there. I have extra copies of Star Trek Bridge Crew that I think somebody gifted it to me last year, if I remember correctly. And I still haven't gotten around to it just because like I'm too lazy to actually put a crew together. But there's an open chair on the bridge that that is waiting for you.
That might be worth checking out. I have a passing familiarity and interest in all things Star Trek, so let's build on that. Let's give it a shot.
All right, we'll do it. The only stipulation is we have to do the Next Generation version. There's a J.J. Abrams version. We can do that one too, but we're doing the Next Generation one first because that's just the stipulation.
As God intended.
Yeah.
In our Discord chat, we have Dustlico and Dark Pasties who are already reserving spots on my squad in Division 3. Which I don't think has actually been announced yet. That? So,
okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a thing yet. But Eshian, there's our crew. We got a 4-person team. So sorry, DJ, you're not in this one.
Okay, that was close. I almost had to play the Division.
we are divided on this.
Oh man, Paul says he'll be my Riker. For Star Trek Bridge Crew, I think
I'll be your number 2.
You all switch off, so it's like a rotating Riker. But
VGH 524 rotating Riker.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
People, Eshian saying you have to jump into Final Fantasy. I thought it was 14, but there's a lot of numbers there that I'm not sure about. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it sounds like Star Trek Bridge Crew is in our future, and then the Division 3, and then I will take my leave,
retire from video gaming forever.
Oh man, okay, I think we have another call. Let's listen to this.
None of us are getting any younger. Sorry, it's just a fact of life. I turned 50 years old this year. 50 years old. It's unbelievable, at least to me. Anyway. Even when we're younger, We all have things that bug us. So each of you, what's one current phrase or idiom or incorrect grammatical usage that just grinds your gears, that just bugs the hell out of you? Oh, and get off my lawn.
So I'm pretty sure that was Green Captain again.
Pretty sure.
First of all, happy birthday. Congratulations. That is quite a milestone.
I would not have guessed 50.
Yeah. Like late 30s at the, the oldest, right? So,
yeah.
So, cheers to that. That's amazing.
Really? We should all be so lucky. Exactly.
Yeah. What is a phrase or a piece of slang that annoys you? Ancient person.
I don't know. I think I'm generally pretty good at sort of dismissing kind of generational language. My generation had it. Gen X, we had certainly had stuff. I occasionally still refer to things as being wicked. I know that has not been a thing for a very long time. I don't know. There's not really one of those that sort of like upsets me in some great way. Lit. The description of things as being lit. Yeah, I don't get that one. That's odd. I would never say that like, oh shit, that was lit. Those words would never come out of my mouth. But I understand that there is an age group of people for whom that is an appropriate descriptor. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
that's
lit.
Fair. I can see that.
Yeah. I'm cool with language. Music is harder. It is so much harder to sort of like figure out the appeal of, I don't know, Billie Eilish and 21 Pilots. Like those things just go over my head in a way that I cannot comprehend. But yeah, I don't begrudge any generation their stupid words.
That's very generous of you.
Thank you.
For the longest time, this is like kind of evolved. A huge hangout for me is when people would use the word literally incorrectly. And like I said, this is evolved. So it started out where people would say, like, if you don't know, like, you don't know how you're supposed to use this word. It's when you are saying something that normally sounds like you're being figurative, but you're actually being literal. So you'd be like, oh my god, that movie scared me literally to death. That means you died watching that movie. It means you're not being figurative. And a lot of people had a difficult time grasping that, which led to it was hilarious though, because people would say something like that. They'd be like, there's that David Cross routine where he's like, oh man, I literally shit my pants. And it's like, oh man. So what did you do with your shitty pants afterward? You literally shit them. But
gross.
Yeah, so that was the hill that I was prepared to die on for the longest time. But now it's just gotten to the point where people will just say literally for emphasis on something. And now they will just add it into sentences where it has absolutely no business being there. Like, oh my god, it's literally Tuesday. Like, there's no figurative equivalent of that. It can't be, like, metaphorically a Tuesday.
It is actually Tuesday.
Yeah. So I feel like I've just lost that battle.
Mm-hmm.
The English language will never recover.
Just let it happen, DJ.
Yeah. It's like I've given up. It's not worth it.
Just throw your hands up like you're on a roller coaster and just slide into it.
So irritating. I feel like you just pay attention to what you're saying. You should, be deliberate. God, you should be deliberate about your words.
Mm.
Tor Caliburn says it is literally the most overused word. That's plausible.
That works.
I don't like thinking about that in a sentence. So annoying. But anyway, since I've moved on from that, my new thing is when all these streamers will say stuff like, they'll be like, if I could just be honest with you, or like, honestly, guys. And then they will say something that is like so mundane and not surprising. Because I feel like whenever you break out that phrase, you're preparing somebody you're preparing to impart some information that is just so straightforward with them. But then they'll use it in situations where it's like, if I can just be honest with you, I really love this movie. It's like, oh, I was expecting you to lie to me about that. I wasn't expecting you to give me your actual opinion on this thing. I was expecting to be deceived. I'm glad you cleared that up for me before, giving me these asinine thoughts that you have.
Oh, I have a similar one that just popped into my brain. Low key. Are you familiar with low key?
Oh, no, I like low key. What's wrong with that?
Do you really? Oh, no, I'm not a fan of that.
What's wrong with low key?
Because you're not being low key about anything. You're being very sort of overt about it. I low key love that movie. Well, no, you just love that movie. Just own it.
Well, why? What if they are being low key about it? Maybe this is a case, the same case as literally, where they're just not using it correctly.
Am I being too literal about low key? Yeah,
this has gone to a weird place. I don't know if I've seen anybody misusing it like that. I mean, I can imagine it for sure, but I'm always like, yeah, that is very low key. At least that's how I use it. The grammatical stickler or whatever.
Well, I would not expect you to use it anyway, but literally.
Right. Jesus. Let's go on to the next question, please. We have a question from Obi Hyde on the Discord, who says, if you were stuck on a desert island, just kidding, have you considered having Paul back as a guest host once in a while? I sometimes miss that guy. First of all, what's with Obi Hyde sending in a question on the Discord? Get with the times, guy. I don't know, like a few years ago, he was sending us emails, always just out of date with the technology. I don't know what's going on.
This is clearly between you and Obi Hyde. I'm not getting involved in this.
It's 2021. Please just beam it directly into my brain.
I do sort of feel like Paul is kind of co-hosting this show. I feel like he has been, at least this particular episode, an ever-present voice in this thing. So it's almost like Paul's back. It's the reunion episode that nobody asked for.
It's the reunion episode
that maybe Obi Hyde asked for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, see, he's right here. He's like not Andy Richter. Well, maybe a little bit like if Andy Richter was just in the Twitch chat.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Yeah. And thank you for not having a desert island question. I feel like we've covered all facets of desert island questions on previous episodes.
I don't think we got one last year. Did we?
No. Well, I think we came out pretty sort of strongly opposed to desert island questions, and maybe people learned.
Well, I was fully expecting, with us putting that disclaimer out there, that then that would just make it inevitable. So,
we would just get hundreds of them.
Only desert island questions. But none this year. As far as I can see. Interesting. Maybe we did answer them all.
Maybe.
Okay. Well. Not sure if we answered that question, but moving along.
I low-key am not sure we answered that question.
Stop it. We have another call. I wonder who it could be.
What number am I thinking of?
69.
69, dudes.
Nice.
Next question. What is the next question? Another question from Cube on the Discord. What is your worst gaming purchase? Say a game you really wanted and you bought it for full price and it was a stinker. How about that? Do you have a worst gaming purchase?
I have for a long time I thought it was No Man's Sky. I bought the collector's edition of No Man's Sky, like day one, $100 or some shit like that, and it was barely a game. But that game has, I think, paid for itself over the years with the number of patches and sort of expansions it's gotten, and it's a very different experience than it was at the time. So I'm kind of happy I held on to my copy of it.
One of the great sort of success stories in gaming. I think one of the biggest turnarounds.
Yeah. It certainly did not start there, so that's impressive. Yeah.
Can I ask what was in the collector's edition that inspired you to pick that one up?
What else was in there? There was a soundtrack disc. There was a galaxy map or something like that, suitable for framing. You could hang on your wall. It came in a cool metal box. There was a bunch of just stuff, just things.
I don't think I can't see a No Man's Sky poster framed and hanging on the wall behind you. So
no, it never made it out of the box. No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
No. Recently, I bought the collector's edition of Metroid Dread, and I regret that.
Why is that? Everybody loves Metroid Dread.
I do not love Metroid Dread.
You do not love Metroid Dread.
No. I thought I would. I expected I would. But I just did not have a fun time playing that video game. So I bought this expensive $90 collector's edition that, again, came with sort of a steel book, a metal box, a bunch of sort of collectible postcards suitable for framing of classic Metroid games. And, I feel like maybe I just threw my money away.
Did it come with like a Metroid toy or anything? Like a Metroid Amiibo, at least?
No, you had to buy the Amiibo separately.
What?
It came with
the Amiibo?
It did not, no. It came with an art book. It came with actually a really nice art book that I kind of am glad that I have.
Right.
No, it just probably could have not bought that game and been fine. How about you?
I have, a couple that stand out to me. One, Fable 2. I just totally bought in on the Peter Molyneux bullshit. It's just not good, not enjoyable.
VGH 524, the Peter Molyneux bullshit.
That's every episode. But then another big one for me was Fantasy Life. On paper, I should love everything about that game, and it just did not click with me for whatever reason. Actually, I know why, because I started playing Final Fantasy XIV like the same month. And it basically does like everything you can do in that game, you can do in Final Fantasy. It's just in a more interesting way. So it was bad timing. But I think like if that had come out like a year earlier, I would have been just so into it. Or maybe not, because there was also that butterfly that just like would never stop talking. It was very irritating.
That is a problem in that game. Yeah, absolutely. I like that game. I had a lot of fun with Fantasy Life. I think I played through multiple lives of it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got an alert on my phone that there is a mobile version of Fantasy Life that was just released, like in the last week.
Really?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Like a port of that original one?
I don't know if it's a port of it or if it's a new game. I have not sort of fully explored this, but the Google Play Store was sort of like, we think you might like this game. And the game was the portable version of Mobile Life. Not Mobile Life, Fantasy Life.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll have to explore further.
I want to read a few answers from the chat. People's most regrettable game purchases. Obi Hyde says Sonic Spinball. I thought people liked that game. I don't know. Deadly Gearhead says Call of Duty Ghosts. Yeah, sounds about right. That's everything.
I didn't buy either of those games, so I feel lucky, I guess. I have a question from the Discord chat. From Eshian to you and I. What does your significant other think of the podcast?
Oh, good question.
Sarah barely tolerates the podcast.
Barely tolerates it. Interesting.
Yes, yeah. She literally cannot stand the podcast. No, yeah, I think she has just resigned herself to the fact that I dedicate a weird number of hours of my week to doing this thing and hanging out with DJ and talking about video games.
It's like an hour.
Yeah. It is an entire Monday
something
night.
Else to do. Actually, I guess it's more than an hour.
Yeah. She is, as we are recording this, she is downstairs in our house right now watching murder shows on Discovery. So she gets 4 uninterrupted hours of all the murder shows she can watch, which I don't enjoy watching. So, yeah, she has her thing. I have mine.
What are murder shows? Like Unsolved Mysteries?
It's there's like a I married a murderer and things like that. It's just like Discovery Channel has all of these like true crime shows that are like, you know, a lot of reenactments and very dramatic voiceovers with people sort of like yeah.
Oh man. Okay, well,
it's a thing.
You gotta have time for your murder shows. I don't know.
What do the people in your life think about your podcast, DJ?
I was gonna say I'm currently single, so I'm off the hook.
You don't have to justify your time to anyone.
Yeah, no excuse. Next question. Where were we? We have another call, I think. Are we getting more questions? Are people asking more questions in the chat? Should we be answering these things?
I don't know. I pulled one from the chat. Is there others in the Twitch chat?
Torque Caliburn says episode 524 times a number of hours equals lots of time. I can't I can't do math at this point. That's probably not even math. We're getting there. We're getting to that point. We have another call. Let's go to another call.
Is there anything that you think that people would be surprised to hear that you can't do? For example, I can't swim. I live in Florida. We have a pool in our house. I can't swim. I should probably get on that one of these days, but that's a whole other thing. Is there anything that you have like that?
I also cannot swim.
Really?
Never learned, was never taught. Yeah. And in the rare occasions where I find myself in a pool it's pretty much just a pool because I would never go in the ocean because that's gross.
It's more gross than a public pool.
Oh yeah, I would stand by that. Yes, I agree completely. Yeah. So it's kind of a doggy paddle situation, or just sort of stay in the shallow end and kind of wade.
I would go in the ocean. Like I would not go in a pool at this point.
Oh, really?
Maybe it was my own pool.
No, the ocean is horrifying.
I mean, it is horrifying. but
that's not a deal breaker for you.
I don't know.
I can swim. I can ride a bike. I can whistle. Like, those are weird things. I can snap. Some people can't snap. I can snap. So yeah, I'm capable of many of those things. I just I don't know how to swim.
I'll just say it. I'm not a great swimmer either. It was like I never really I did lessons, but I was just never into it. I got kind of probably to the same point where you are, like the doggy paddle situation, because we had to do swimming in high school, which was just like a traumatic experience. Like, I don't want to. Nobody wants to do it in high school.
My high school didn't have a pool, fortunately, so I was off the hook.
If there's one saving grace about it, is that I had PE first period, especially when we got to the swimming segments, because I heard like horror stories from people who would have it like 6th or 7th period at the end of the day, when there had been like 5 or 6 PE classes before you using the pool, and I was just like, oh man, that's gross.
That pool is 80% pee at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, never go in a pool. Man, a lot of people in the chat just saying that they cannot swim. Maybe it's not such a big deal. So, yeah, I don't know.
Can you whistle? Can you ride a bike?
I can't whistle. No, I can barely ride a bike either. So just like all these life skills. Who needs to whistle though?
I have dogs. Whistling is important.
Oh, but you can whistle, so that's good.
I can, yeah. Sarah cannot though. So it's funny that like I will whistle and they will go to her, and she's like, I can't even whistle, and somehow the dogs think she can.
I'll be very confused. Okay. Next question.
Sure.
We have a question from Eshin, this guy on Discord, who says, "Who is your favorite Discord member? Choose wisely."
TJ.
Oh. Well, that's very nice of you to say.
I feel like that's the safe answer, right?
Sure.
Anybody else is probably going to make somebody else angry.
Okay, well, funnily enough, also my answer, just DJ. Best Discord member, for sure.
I have immense appreciation for our Discord family. I think 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people in a lot of ways, and I think the Discord helped me immensely. The Animal Crossing channel, particularly of our Discord, helped me immensely to sort of be able to share that obsession with everybody through the bulk of last year. So it was nice when kind of the world was going crazy and falling apart to have sort of a group of like-minded folks that I could chat with and talk about video games and pop culture and occasionally sort of opine about the state of the world. It was nice to have that little kind of social safety net on Discord. So I am grateful to our Discord family. It's always very exciting to sort of see big days in there where everybody's super chatty.
Yeah. No, I love our Discord community as well. For a lot of the same reasons you were saying, it has been a weird couple of years. And it is great to just have sort of a regular group to come back to and just chat about video games and other fun stuff.
Yeah.
When maybe the usual avenues for social interaction are not as accessible. Absolutely.
So, listeners, if you are not in our Discord yet, you should go to VGHangover.com, click the little link, and come hang out with us.
Click the little thing, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I think this is our last question. Wow, it really snuck up on the end.
Holy cow.
We have one more call.
As your show and another crazy year draws to a close, I wanted to thank you for all the content you've created. As always, excellent stuff. Thank you for years of friendship. It really does mean a lot. You know, we all need little spaces we can go to just enjoy and be safe and have fun with our hobbies. And sorry again for not having, given you much content for the last couple Drunktaculars. It's been weird, and I know I don't have to apologize, but hey, I want to because, it means something to me. And I just wanted to leave you this year with this final thought. I've been trying to reach you about your vehicle's extended warranty plan.
Come on. Come on. I was hoping for something profound, and then all we got was that. Torque Caliburn got a jet. Thank you so much for dropping by. What a surprise. I may never mentally recover from this. And also thank you, Green Captain. Thank you so much for all the calls this evening, for being part of the community, for all the interaction over the years.
Yeah.
And you said you didn't have to apologize for taking a few years off, but it's totally fine. We have no obligations on anyone.
It is always cool and weird and surprising to me that there are people who listen to this dorky thing that you and I put out into the internet, that we have a Discord of folks who have sort of like-minded perspectives on video games and can sort of share opinions and ideas and thoughts around those things in a constructive and positive and fun way. I don't know. It's just I feel sort of very lucky that we've been able to create this little thing, this space, as Green Captain said, where people get to hang out and talk about and enjoy each other and video games. So yeah, it's I don't know, staggering to me that this exists, that we get to do this, that I don't know, we still find it fun to do this after 10 years. That's I don't know, super lucky to have this place, this outlet.
I probably don't say it enough. Yeah, it's super cool that everybody listens to the show every week, or maybe you don't listen to the show every week. Maybe you just hang out in the Discord. That's fine. It's always exciting to see people and see what they're up to.
So cool. I guess we wrap this thing up, huh?
I think that's it. Is that how we usually end these things?
I don't know. We've somehow recorded 524 of these, and I can never remember the outro.
I've got it right here. I can do it. First of all, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for listening to Video Game Hangover this year. Thank you for everybody who's been hanging out in the chat this evening. I'm sure I missed some questions. So we overlooked some stuff, but feel free to nag us if you did not have your question answered. I have it on here. So, Extra Life. Remember that thing? You can still donate to our Extra Life team up through December 31st if you go to vghangover.com/extralife. I don't know if we mentioned this, but we recently hit, was it 1,500? Or no, it was it 1,500 each?
It's 3,000. Yeah.
There's 3,000, which is unbelievable. It's for sure a new team record. Just a very large number. What are we going to do next year?
I don't know.
But we're extremely grateful for that, and for everybody who kind of cheered us on Extra Life Weekend as well. That is still available if you go to vghangover.com. We are going to take a little break for the next few weeks as it's getting into the holidays. We feel like we need a little time off. We will possibly we'll probably drop a couple little mini shows into the podcast feed, just so it's not complete radio silence until the new year. But we will be back with regular episodes starting on, if this number is correct, January 6th.
That is correct.
That is correct. Oh, excellent.
You are correct, sir.
100 points for me. So we'll see you all then. In the meantime, what you can do is, if you're just desperate for more of our inane prattle, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/VGHangover. you can go to VGHangover.com and get full notes for this episode and relevant links. I don't think we have any relevant links for this episode, but maybe go there anyway. Maybe there'll be something weird there that you can click on.
We could have some irrelevant links.
We can have irrelevant links. Everybody post your irrelevant links in the chat right now. We'll put it on the show post.
Awesome.
You can join us on Discord, as we mentioned. You can get the link for that at VGHangover.com, or if you're watching the stream, it's like right down there. It's down. Oh, I did it. Well, first try, I pointed the right direction. It's right there. We would encourage you, please go to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, if you're not watching it on Twitch at the moment, and please give us a 5-star rating and positive review. It really helps us get the word out about the show.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Awesome Games Done Quick, which is starting January 9th, a speedrunning marathon for charity. I always forget to give them a mention, so I just want to do that. But I think that will be it. I think that is it. We did it.
Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Wait, you just keep doing that. I don't know what to do about that.
This has been a delight. I'm quite tipsy, so mission accomplished. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this year, DJ, and talk about video games. It's been a pleasure, man.
It's been great. Cheers, everybody.
See you in 2022.
See you next year.
Shots. Paul says shots. I don't have anything shot worthy, unfortunately. Let me finish this beer. Let's chug it while I push stop.